Pete Seeger launched the American people and children's track My Rainbow Race on his Rainbow Race album in 1973. The tune was once translated into Norwegian as Barn av Regnbuen, which capability Children of the Rainbow, and it grew to become the sixth highest promoting single in Norway in 1973. On July 22, 2011, Anders Behring Breivik killed 77 human beings with the aid of detonating a van bomb in Oslo and then opening hearth on the contributors of a summertime camp on the island of Utøya. Breivik, who identifies as a fascist and a Nazi, claimed in the course of his trial that Children of the Rainbow was once an instance of Marxist propaganda and that it used to be brainwashing Norwegian children. Norwegian singer-songwriter Lille Bjørn Nilsen, who had translated the historic American folk song, stood up in defiance of these remarks and organized a mass overall performance of the tune for the duration of Breivik's trial. More than 40,000 human beings in Oslo by myself stood collectively to sing the song, and greater human beings joined in from squares throughout the country. Led Zeppelin has been, and nevertheless are, one of the most famous rock bands in the world. The band gave the world unforgettable songs such as Immigrant Song, Whole Lotta Love, and Stairway to Heaven. Frontman Robert Plant suffered an extraordinary tragedy in 1977 when he misplaced his 5-year-old son Karak due to illness. His spouse had referred to like him in the course of the band's American tour and informed him that she used to be very concerned about Karak due to the fact he'd unexpectedly come to be sick. It was once a mere 2 hours later when Plant acquired any other cell phone call, informing him that his son had died. In his grief, Plant used to be geared up to supply up his career, however. He finally pushed through, working with his band contributors on Led Zeppelin's closing album, In Through the Outdoor. One of the most memorable songs on that album was once the tribute track to Plant's song titled, All My Love. The music used to be recorded in one session. Due to the fact Plant couldn't undergo to sing the emotional phrases over and over. On June 17, 2015, 21-year-old Dylan Roof walked into the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. He opened a hearth on congregation contributors who had been attending a Bible study, killing 9. 2 days later, singer Maren Morris wrote, Dear Hate, and recorded it 12 months later. She hadn't launched it, however, due to the fact she felt that it wasn't the proper time. On October 1, 2017, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock opened fireplace upon a crowd of pageant goers attending the Route 91 Harvest Tune competition in Las Vegas, killing 60 people. When Morris heard the news, she used to be devastated and posted the music online in tribute to the victims, pronouncing that she realized that day there would in no way be a proper time. She went on to write a prolonged Instagram publish which covered the following: Hate is everywhere, and I'm ailing of no longer doing enough. In the darkest tunnel, there is nevertheless love and amp. Music. That's what it's right here for. Here is Dear Hate. Any cent I see from this I'm donating to the Music City Cares Fund. Trent Reznor defined on Netflix's song Exploder that he'd continually felt like an outsider and that disappointment and a feel of abandonment constantly appeared to comply with him. He additionally felt ill-equipped to deal with reputation, and all of these thoughts led to the writing of the heartbreaking track, Hurt. In 2002, Johnny Cash recorded a haunting cowl of the song, which supplied a one-of-a-kind interpretation of the lyrics. Cash whose fitness used to be failing him at the age of 70, sang the phrases nearly as if he knew that his existence would quit soon. The tuning video, regarded these days to be one of the saddest tune movies of all time, used to be shot in February 2003. 3 months later, Cash misplaced his wife. In September 2003, Johnny Cash passed away. His ultimate album American 4 done gold repute in the U.S. The music, Heaven, used to be written and recorded in 1983 and first seemed on the A Night in Heaven soundtrack album that identical year. Heaven used to be stimulated through the band Journey's tune, Faithfully, and grew to become Bryan Adams' first wide variety one single on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. In 2001, DJ Sammy launched a dance cowl of the tune which rapidly reached a wide variety one on the UK singles chart. A stripped-down, candlelight mix, model noticed the mild in 2003. Also in 2003, the KKXX radio station in California recorded a tribute model of the tune to commemorate the first anniversary of the September 11 attacks. A former software director requested his daughter to examine phrases off a script whilst he recorded her. These phrases had been interspersed with the unique refrain of the song. Heaven September 11 remix grew to become one of the most requested songs in the radio station's records and used to be quickly performed on radio stations worldwide. Songwriter Bernie Taupin used to be a large fan of Marilyn Monroe, and after co-writing Elton John's hit music, Tiny Dancer, he commenced wondering about the first-rate way to write a tribute tune to her. Except it comes off as tacky. Out of these thoughts, the lovely ballad, Candle in the Wind, used to be born. The title and lyrics of the tune were once stimulated via a tribute to Janis Joplin in which the equal phrase was once used. The track was once supposed to be heartfelt, seemed to be at the lifestyles of Marilyn Monroe, and Taupin later stated that the lyrics should additionally have been about James Dean, Sir Bernard Law Clift, or Jim Morrison, who have been all reducing brief in the high of their life. Fast ahead to 1997, when the surprising loss of life of Princess Diana reverberated around the world. Taupin and Elton John determined to transform the lyrics to the track as a tribute to the princess. Elton performed it at some stage in Diana's funeral, and the track was once additionally launched as a single, turning into the best-selling single of all time in the UK. Elton John by no means carried out the transformed model of the tune again and vowed to solely do so. Need to one or each of Diana's sons ask him to do so. In one of the most irritating crook trials in history, 22-year-old Casey Anthony was once determined now not responsible in 2011 for the first-degree homicide of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. While her daughter used to be missing, Casey displayed nearly no emotion and persevered to celebration around town. When Kaylee's physique was once eventually observed and the investigation grew to become into a search for a homicide suspect, all proof appeared to factor to Casey. Still, when the time got here for a jury to convict her, there simply wasn't adequate stated proof to conclusively decide that she was once guilty. Had matters long passed the different way and she'd been discovered responsible, prosecutors would have pursued the death penalty as punishment. Lead vocalist of Us of a pop trio, Rascal Flatts, launched a rewritten model of a tune known as She's Going Places in tribute to Kaylee Anthony in 2011. Pledis T. Judd and Jimmy Yeary rewrote the lyrics, and they all desired to make certain that there would be no focal point on Casey Anthony, however, that the tribute would solely be about little Kaylee. On December 14, 2012, 20-year-old Adam Lanza shot and killed his mom and then set off for the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, the place he massacred 20 first-graders and 6 instructors earlier than turning the gun on himself. An intent used to be in no way established. However, it was once claimed that Lanza had substantial intellectual fitness problems that averted him from interacting in an ordinary way with different people. In 2013, United States of America song singer George Strait, who misplaced his very own daughter in a vehicle accident in 1986, paid tribute to the victims of Sandy Hook via writing a lovely track referred to as "I Believe." He was once hesitant at first. Now not trying to offend the victims' households by means of the usage of the tragedy as a suggestion for the music, however, his spouse subsequently satisfied him to do it. In 2011, the Das case in opposition to Kesha published that the singer had alerted numerous humans in her lifestyles in 2005 that Dr. Luke, former producer and head of Chemosable Records, had engaged in unethical and illegal moves towards her. These movements covered allegedly raping her in his lodge room in 2005 after giving her a date rape drug. The hostilities between Kesha and Luke persevered for various years, with Kesha claiming that Luke compelled her to launch Die Young after receiving foremost backlash for the song's lyrics. In 2014, Kesha filed a lawsuit in opposition to Luke claiming he sexually assaulted and hit her and that the aftermath of the anxious match noticed her struggling from depression, nervousness, and post-traumatic stress. Luke spoke back by submitting a countersuit in opposition to Kesha, her mom, and supervisor Jack Rovner for defamation. Lady Gaga used to be dragged into the mess when she advised a radio presenter in the course of an interview that she'd been sexually assaulted through an unnamed tune producer at the age of 19. Gaga alternatively in no way proven that she used to be referring to Dr. Luke. Lawsuits and struggle continued, with stressful emails launched in 2017 in which Luke seems to pressure Kesha into dieting. Luke exited as CEO of Chemosable Records that year. After his departure, Kesha launched her first solo tune When You Consider That, the lawsuit titled, Praying. And even though the battle between Kesha and Dr. Luke nevertheless continues in 2021. This track is the one shiny mild at some point of all of the darkness. Kesha stated that the music used to be about hoping that anyone, inclusive of abusers, can heal. On February 12, 1993, a month earlier than his 1/3 birthday, James Bulger used to be kidnapped from a purchasing centre in Bootle, Liverpool via 2 10-year-old boys. The boys took the little one to a railway line 2.5 miles away, the place they tortured and killed him. The boys, Robert Thompson and John Venables, have been convicted of the homicide in November 1993. Making him the youngest convicted murderers in modern-day British history. When Dolores O'Riordan heard of the tragedy, she was once shattered, pouring her emotions into her songwriting. She wrote the track, The Icicle Melts, as a response to James' murder. During an interview in 1994, she defined that the case had moved her so plenty that she had to write a tune about it. Some consider to this day, that O'Riordan used to be in opposition to abortion and that the music used, to be honest about being pro-life. However, it has been many times ordinary that The Icicle Melts was once written as a response to the horrific homicide of little James Bulger.